All right, how's everyone doing today? Welcome back to another video. And today, what I have for everyone is my full camera review for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. So today in this video, I'm going to take you guys and gals through everything that you need to know in terms of the cameras on your Samsung Galaxy Note 10. So we're going to go through the different ways that you launch the camera. We're going to do an in-depth deep dive into the camera software and the main camera interface and the modes. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and throw up all of the photo and the video samples that I've taken with the device, so y'all can check it out for yourselves and draw your own conclusions and opinions. And because this video can get kind of long, it will be timestamped for your convenience. So please feel free to check out down below in the video description if you want to jump around to different parts of the video that you would like to know more about. And as always, all feedback is greatly appreciated. Just keep it respectful, please. So without further ado, let's get into it here, y'all. Let's go. So starting off here, the first thing I want to cover is the different ways that you can launch into the cameras on your Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Alright, so if you want to know how to do this, please pay attention to the B-roll demonstrations that will be up on the screen now. But let's get started. The first way that you can launch into the cameras on your Galaxy device is from the lock screen. You just swipe up on the camera icon and it will take you into the main camera interface landing page. Alright, way number 2 is you can double press the power button on your Samsung Note or Galaxy device, and that will also drop you into the main camera interface on your Galaxy device. Alright, so quick double press of the power button and we're in there. And then finally, way number 3, all you have to do is find the camera icon anywhere that you have it on your device and tap on it, and that will take you into the main camera interface landing page. And y'all please forgive the mess that y'all see in front of you. It is what it is. But now let's go ahead and walk through all of the modes and features on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 cameras and its main camera interface from top to bottom, left to right. Let's start off with the photo modes first. So let me go over there. Boom. Alright, now let's get into this. In the upper left-hand corner, we do have a gear icon that will take us into the subsettings for our cameras, where we can change and do some modifications. So you can see up top, the first row we have is intelligent features. This is where you could turn off and turn on your scene optimizer. If you don't like it, if you feel like it's not doing a good job, you could toggle it off and on in here in the subsettings. You can also toggle off and on your shot suggestions. So these are guidelines that help you line up the best possible shot. Now, also, the Note 10 or any Samsung camera nowadays has a built-in QR code scanner that you can also toggle off and on. Then just below that, we got our picture settings. So you can see by swiping on the shutter button, you can do a burst shot or you can create a GIF. Okay? And then just below that, we have format and advanced options for photos. So if we come in here, you can see your codecs, so your H.F, your H.EVC, your RAW file copies, so your JPEG or your RAW files, which can be used in Pro Mode Video or Pro Mode Photo, and your lens correction for the ultra-wide camera. Okay? And then just below that, we have our selfie subsettings. So wide angle group selfies, you could toggle that off and on. Save selfie previews directly after you take them, you could toggle that off and on. You can set the tone for your selfies just by going into selfie tone, and you can slide through the slider so you can make it warmer or you can make it cooler like so, or you can leave it at original. I'm big on how it looks organically or originally. So I like to leave things or set things to their original settings. And then you just hit set and you're good to go. And then directly below that, we have our video options, which is we got our advanced options for video. So we could do the file codecs. We could do the HDR10 Plus support. Okay. And we could do the microphone zoom. So as you zoom into a particular object or subject, it will zoom in the audio as well. This way you get the best overall audio. All right. Then just below that, we got our HDR controls. Now, you can toggle off and on HDR, but if you tap on it and you go into the HDR settings, you can see we have two options. And it does give you a nice breakdown of what it does. But you could have it so the software applies it as needed, or you can have it to where it always applies the maximum HDR effect. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I just want to let everyone know that I did indeed have it set to apply HDR as needed for all of the photos and all of the video. All right. But when I'm not testing a device, I like to have it set to always apply the maximum effect. But just so y'all know how all the photos and videos were taken, HDR always on and apply as needed. Okay. But I just wanted to show y'all that. And then we do have our object tracking autofocus. So you can select the subject, and as long as that subject is in the frame, the cameras will attempt to keep it in focus. And you could toggle that off and on. Then we have our grid lines, and we really only have our 3x3 grid. That's all we have. Then we have our location metadata tags, and I always recommend that y'all turn these off, because anyone with a little bit of technical know-how can get your location from these location metadata tags. Okay, so yes, it is convenient and it can help you organize your photos and your videos and pull them up faster, but is it really worth giving away your potential location? I don't think so. That's why I always recommend that you turn it off. Okay, but that's just my own personal recommendation. Y'all do what you want. All right. And then we have our shooting modes here. So this is where you can control what the volume keys do. And y'all can see by default, it's set to take a photo or start and stop a video. But I like to set my volume keys to zoom in and out. Okay. I find it's a little bit more convenient to use the volume keys to do that instead of the pinch to zoom. All right. But you can also set your volume keys to control the overall system volume if you would like. Okay. And then we have the palm swipe to take a selfie. So you just hold up your palm. Let me see if I can demonstrate this for everyone here. So if I switch to the front facing camera here and I hold my palm up and do that, and it takes a selfie. Now you could do this with the front facing camera. You could do it with the rear facing camera. Again, you just hold your palm up and it takes a selfie. Now I find that that's super convenient, especially when you're a one-man band like myself. You know, you take advantage of all the useful features that devices have. So that's how that palm selfie works. And again, that works from the front-facing camera or the rear-facing camera. All right, so really good stuff if I'm trying to line up a shot and I don't have nobody to help me. Turn that on and I could take my photo with the front-facing camera or the rear-facing camera. It is what it is. All right. And then we have our voice commands. This is pretty much self-explanatory. So you could take a photo and or start and stop a video by saying these particular commands. We have a floating shutter. So if you find that the shutter button is a little bit harder to reach and you're trying to take a photo or start a video, you turn that on. And now you have this floating shutter button that you can move around the screen and make it reachable. And you can put this anywhere on your screen to make it reachable. So if you find that the original shutter button is a little bit harder to reach, check out that floating shutter. All right. Okay. Let's keep it moving now. And then you can go and toggle all this stuff off and on if you don't like to use it or you want to use it. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, exactly how y'all saw this set is how I had it set when I was recording the videos and taking the photos. So I don't use the floating shutter, I don't use the voice commands, I just use the palm swipe to capture and the volume keys to zoom in and out. Okay? Now, another neat feature that I like is you can use the S Pen on the Note 10 to start and stop video or take photos just by pushing the button on the S Pen. Now I did use that one quite often. That's one of my favorites, but that is another feature that I wanted to point out in terms of the cameras as well. Now, if we keep this moving here, underneath the shooting modes, we got the settings to keep. So if you toggle this on, it's pretty much self-explanatory. That first mode up at the top, if you toggle that on, the cameras will remember the last mode that you were in, and when you launch the cameras again, it will bring you back to that mode. And the same thing applies to the selfies. So the cameras will remember your last selfie setup, okay? And then when you come back in and you're taking a selfie, it will remember that setup. And then the same thing for your filters, okay? So if you have filters that you use often, it will remember those filters. Alright? And then the rest of these is self-explanatory. So shutter sound, haptic feedback, resetting the settings on the camera to the factory default settings for the camera, contact information, and then camera information here. So camera software version, privacy policy, and open source information in terms of licensing. That's what's in the subsettings gear icon. Okay, figured we might as well cover that one first. Now, directly next to that, we have our flash controls. Again, self-explanatory, on, off, auto. And as soon as you select it, it goes away and it gives you a little on-screen notification letting you know what's turned on and what is in. Now, I don't like flash, so I usually leave it turned off. Directly next to that, we got our timer controls. And I don't like this, but it is what it is. We only have timer controls for photos. We don't have timer controls for video. And you can see we got 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds are off. Then next to that, we got our aspect ratio. So 4:3, 3:4, 16:9, 9:16, 1:1 square, or full screen. Alright? So you can literally set up the viewfinder for the cameras exactly how you want it to be. It's completely up to you. Alright? Now I like to shoot in the 4:3. So that's what I had it set to, 4:3. And then directly after that, we have our cameras will record a little bit of motion before you take the photo and a little bit of motion after you take the photo, and you'll get that nice little motion effect in the photo like a live photo. I don't really like that, so I have that turned off. Alright? And then directly next to that, we have our filters. Now we got our standard variety filters here, so original, warm, cool, white and black, soft, you name it. And then when you hit the end, you can see we got a download icon to where we could download more filters. And then we can also control the intensity of the filter with the slider at the bottom. Okay? So you can really customize the filters to your liking. Then we got my filters. Okay? So if there are ones that you use often, the camera will remember that. If you want to make a custom filter, you can do that here as well. Okay? And then we got different face and beauty effects. Now y'all can see I don't like face or beauty effects. I prefer a natural look. Okay? If your skin is bad, your skin is bad. Own that. That's you. Okay? You shouldn't have to add different filters and effects to make yourself feel better. Own who you are. Okay? That's just my thought on it. So I don't like filters and beauty effects. I turn all that stuff off. I'm happy with the way I look, even though I don't think I look too good. It is what it is. But you turn it on, you mess around with the beauty and face effects for yourself. Go crazy with it, man. It's your device. You set it up how you want it. But that's the beauty and face effects and the filters. Let's get out of here. And then now just below that row, we have our main viewfinder here, our main composition window viewfinder, and then directly below that we have a quick shortcut to jump between the cameras and the zoom. So starting from left to right, the triple tree is the ultra wide 16 megapixel camera, and check out the difference in field of view. Now when you tap on the shortcut, you also get access to the different zoom ranges. So 0.5 times, 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, and 10 times. And then directly next to that in the middle, the double tree is our primary 12 megapixel camera. And the same rules apply. When you tap on it, you get quick shortcuts to the other zoom ranges. Okay? Same as the ultra wide, right? And then last but certainly not least is our other 12 megapixel sensor. This is our 12 megapixel telephoto sensor. Okay? And same rules apply as the other two. So different zoom ranges when you tap on the shortcut. Now, I just want to let everyone know so you know what ranges kick on what cameras. Now, for the ultra wide camera, let me do it in real time so you can see it. So it starts off at 0.5 times. Let me take my finger out of there. And as you click through, right, you can see 0.7, 0.8, 0.9 times. After this, it's going to go into the primary camera. So when you get to 1 time zoom, we're on the primary 12 megapixel camera, and you can see the change there. Now as for the primary camera, it's going to go all the way through. Let me do it in real time. 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. Right? And then when you get up to 2 times zoom, now we're on the telephoto camera here. Check that out, right? And then the telephoto camera will take you the rest of the way. Okay? So you can go from 2 times to 10 times with your telephoto camera. And in all honesty, y'all, I never recommend that you go all the way in 10 times. I'll give you my recommendations when we go over the video samples. But that's just so you can see the different ranges and when the particular cameras switch. And I gotta say, kudos to Samsung for having it switch so seamlessly. And this works just like this in photos, and it works just like this in videos. So really good stuff there. So again, your ultra wide camera is used from 0.5 times to 0.9 times. Your primary camera is used from 1 times to 2 times. And then your telephoto camera is used from 2 times zoom all the way up through 10 times zoom. Alright? Just wanted to show y'all that there. So that goes over the quick shortcuts in the viewfinder. Now, in the far left, you'll see a house. That is the scene optimizer optimizing the cameras for what it thinks the cameras are looking at. So you could turn this off and on not only in the subsettings but by tapping on that icon. So if I tap on the house, it turns off the scene optimizer, and again you get that notification that it was turned off. And then if I tap it again, it's going to take a few seconds, scan the scene, and optimize the photo and camera for the scene. So you see it thinks it's in the house. It is in the house, and it's optimizing the scene for house effect. Okay? So that's how you turn off the scene optimizer in real time, as well as you could turn it off and on in the sub settings for the photos. Alright, let's keep going now. Directly below the viewfinder and the camera shortcuts and the scene optimizer, we can see the different mode that we're in. And you can customize these different modes to your heart's content. So if you swipe to the left, or to the right, my mistake, you could swipe between the modes by swiping back and forth. So I have it set up to where photo mode is first, then I have night mode, portrait mode, primary video mode, portrait video mode, and then there's a more category. And in the more category, you have access to all of your additional modes. Now, if you want to customize your layout for the cameras like I did, you have to hit that plus icon in the bottom corner there. And when you tap on this plus icon, it will let you rearrange the different camera modes. So you can see I can press and hold and drag and drop in new camera modes, and then I can rearrange it. Or if I want to, I could take certain camera modes out, and then again I can rearrange it. So if I want photo mode to be second, all I have to do is take night mode, move it in front, and now photo mode is second, and I can move this all around. Now there are certain modes that you can't move, and that is photo mode and primary video mode. Any mode that's grayed out, you can't move it. Okay? But you can rearrange these modes to your heart's content and get the layout that you want. Okay? And then if you don't see a particular mode, hit that more option and then come in here and find it. So we have Pro Mode Photo, we have Panorama, we have a dedicated food mode, we have a super slow mode, which is 720p, 960 frames per second slow motion. Then we have a regular slow mode, which is 1080p, 240 frames per second slow motion. We got the hyperlapse, and then we got the single take. Okay? And then once you set this up exactly how you want it, and you've rearranged the modes exactly the way you want it, you hit save, and it's locked in. Alright? Now, if at any point any of this gets confusing, you see there's a question mark up at the top that will walk you through all of the different modes and what they do. And again, I gotta give Samsung kudos for this layout and this detailed description underneath each mode. So if you ever get confused or you need to know what a particular mode does, it's all right here just by hitting that question mark. Alright? Good stuff, Samsung. Good stuff indeed. Alright. So that takes you through all your modes and how you can swipe through them back and forth. Now directly below the mode that you're in, you can see your shutter button. And to the left of that, we got a quick shortcut to our gallery. To the right of that, we got a quick shortcut to the front-facing 10 megapixel camera. So on the rear, we have a primary 12 megapixel camera, we have a secondary telephoto 12 megapixel camera, and then we have a 16 megapixel ultra wide camera. On the front, we have a 10 megapixel selfie camera. Alright? And you can do regular selfies or you can do ultra wide group selfies. But all of the modes that you can do on the rear with the rear cameras, you can do on the front, except for Pro Video Mode and Pro, I think you can do Pro Photo Mode as well, but you can't do Pro Video Mode with the front-facing camera. So that's the only mode that you can't access with the front camera, but other than that, everything you can do with the rear, you can do with the front. Alright? Okay, let's keep it moving now. And boom, let's go back to the rear. Now, if you don't like using that quick shortcut to take you between the front and the rear facing cameras, a quick swipe up or a swipe down will also take you through the front and the rear facing cameras. So maybe you think it's faster or easier to swipe up and down, or maybe you think it's faster or easier to hit the shortcut button. It's completely up to you. Whichever way you feel is easiest, that's the way you use. Alright? Alright. So that takes us through the modes. Now, let's talk about some video features and effects, and then we can wrap this up. Now, when we're talking about video, okay, if you use the super steady mode, that's going to lock the camera's stabilization, so you can't change the stabilization settings, and that's going to lock the resolution to 1080p 30 FPS. Alright, this is if you use the super steady mode. And if you're using the super steady mode, you can't zoom either. Okay? But you can use the super steady mode with the ultra wide camera, or you can use it with the primary camera, so you can get some super smooth footage. But keep in mind, you can't zoom. Alright? So if you're using super steady mode and you want to zoom in, you need to physically get as close to your subject as possible. Right? Good. Now, another nice change that I like that Samsung has done is that they gave you access to switching your resolutions directly from the main camera interface. So no longer do you need to dive into the sub settings to switch the different resolutions for the cameras in video. So you can see we got 720p all the way through 4K 60. Alright? And you can see that's the primary cameras, but we can do the same thing for the ultra wide cameras. So if I switch to the ultra wide, 1080p, 720p through 4K 60. Alright? And the same thing with the telephoto. So if I switch to the telephoto, again, 720p through 4K 60. And one more time, if we switch to the front, 720p 4K 60. So you have a uniform recording experience across all the cameras on your Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Okay? And I have to say, in terms of color science between all the cameras, I also feel as though Samsung has done a great job balancing out the color science between the cameras. It's very uniform across all of the cameras on this device. So once again, kudos to Samsung for their optimization and their overall uniformed camera experience. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I just want to let you guys and gals know a few things. Now, in terms of shooting the photos, as I said, I usually shot the photos with regular photo mode turned on. Okay, I had HDR turned on, and I just point and shoot. All right. In terms of the videos, same thing. We just went to regular video mode, lined up the shot, point, record, shot the video, we're done. Okay? I didn't use any pro mode video for this camera review. I didn't use any portrait mode video for this camera review. Now, I did take portrait mode shots, and the same rules apply. When I'm taking portrait mode shots, we just line it up, make sure the subject is in focus, and then we snap the shot. Now, you can also change the portrait mode effects and the intensity straight from the portrait mode. So we got different portrait mode effects, and you can make it super intense, or you can make it less intense. It's up to you. And we could do the same thing with portrait mode video. So you can also change those portrait mode effects, right? And you can do portrait mode video with the rear facing camera or the front facing camera, right? And again, you can control the intensity of the effect and the blur patterns, right? Good stuff. So y'all play around with it. You find what works best for you. I just wanted to cover this so everyone knows how it works. All right? Okay, I think we, is that everything? I think that about does it. Oh, also, and this is for spacing purposes here. Now, in terms of the video recordings, oh boy, your boy getting swole going to the gym, boy. I'm telling you, feeling it out here. In terms of the video recordings, y'all, now I did a max video recording of 4K at 30 FPS. Okay? Yes, I know that all the cameras can do 4K 60, but when you shoot in 4K 60, those file sizes get massive. Okay? And rendering and exporting a 4K 60 file could take a hot minute. So, in terms of the videos y'all are going to see, we went as high as 4K 30 FPS. Okay? So, I just wanted to show y'all that and let y'all know that. And then also, in terms of the Pro Video, because I don't know if I mentioned it, but in Pro Video, you can control everything. And you can also control where you get the audio from. So y'all see, let me hold up my little microfiber cleaning cloth here and make it easier. So we got Omni audio, 360 degree audio. We got USB audio, and then we got Bluetooth audio. And you get live feedback. So you can see as I talk, it's giving you live feedback in pro mode. And you got live focus controls and all that good stuff. We got a histograph up here. All that good stuff is up here, right? So to me, now that I'm done with this full camera review, I'm not going to lie to y'all, a large majority of the videos that I record now will probably be done with pro mode, just because I like the granular controls. So in terms of the audio, right, not only can I control the focus and how it focuses, and then I have that histograph to show me and cue me for things, but in terms of the audio, I can also control the gain. So if I want to record audio from the rear, I can do that, but then I can slide the gain around so I can get the absolute best audio for it. So this is why I really like the Pro Video. And not just that, if I want to use Bluetooth audio, all I have to do is connect any pair of Bluetooth headphones, and then it will give me Bluetooth audio. So it doesn't just work with Galaxy Buds or any Galaxy products, but it will work with any Bluetooth product as well. I just wanted to highlight that in case I forgot to talk about it. But I do believe this fish goes through all of the modes and all of the settings in the main camera interface. Alright? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and cut in the photo samples, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut in the video samples, and I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the rest of the video. So, as I said, it will be timestamped, so y'all know what to do, and I will see you guys on the other side. Have a good one. We are out of here. Let's go ahead and stop this screen recording now. So starting off here, we're going to start off with some stationary outdoor daytime good lighting front facing vlog style footage here, and this is with the front facing 10 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. This is also with no external microphone hooked up, and this is being recorded in 720p. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I just want to let everyone know the cameras on the Note 10 can record all the way up to 4K 60 on the front and 4K 60 on the rear. But just to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to cap everything at 30 FPS. So you guys and gals are going to see 720p 30, 1080p 30, and 4K 30 FPS as we go through the testing. Alright? Also, the rear camera setup is a 12 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 16 megapixel ultra wide. Now again, just to make everything a little easier, I'm going to stick with the primary 12 megapixel camera. Alright? If anything, I might throw in some 16 megapixel ultra wides, but I'm not a big fan of telephoto. But for the most part, I will be sticking with the primary lenses, the primary 12 megapixel lens. Alright? Just to make everything a little bit easier. And the same thing with the front will apply to the rear. So 30 FPS is what I'm capping everything at. So 720p 30, 1080p 30, and 4K 30 FPS. That's what y'all gonna see in these video tests. Okay? So real quick vlog style footage. Let me know what y'all think of the footage and the audio. Let me know how y'all feel it performs down below in the comments. As always, all feedback is greatly appreciated. And now let's spin the cameras around and get to testing out the rear facing camera, okay, in the same lighting scenario here. So I will be right back. I'll see y'all in a second. Peace. All right, everyone, and now we are back testing out the rear facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Alright, and this also is being recorded in 720p at 30 FPS with no external audio hooked up. So again, let me know what y'all feel of the video and the overall audio performance. Feedback always welcome down below in the comments. As always, keep it respectful, please. But let's get started. Real quickly, I just want to verify if you can switch between all three cameras while recording a video, similar to what you can do on LG devices. So let's just test it here. So right now we're on the primary 12 megapixel lens. Let's go to the telephoto. Okay, so you can do that. And then let's go to the ultra wide, and you can do that. So you can switch between all three cameras while recording one video. So really, really good to see that they implemented that. Really good stuff there. Really good stuff indeed. But let's get into testing out the primary 12 megapixel camera now. Let's get into the first set of tests, which is the pan test. Let's go. So we're going to pan from here all the way through to right about here and go on back. Okay, so we're going to do this 3 times. That was 1. Let's go again. That's number 2. Now, I don't have to be as steady with the Note 10 because we have everything. We have OIS, we have EIS, so the stabilization should be really, really good. But still, I'm going to try and be as slow and steady as possible. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So that's 2. And let's do 1 more just to be safe. And let's do number 3. Okay, so that's 3 right there. Now, let's get into testing out the exposure. So we're going to pan up and down. We're going to use the big tree in the center there as our focal point, and we're going to pan up and down and see how well the cameras handle exposure transitions. So ideally what we'd want to see is a nice smooth transition from the lighter areas of the scene to the darker areas of the scene with minimal to no exposure blowout. But if the cameras do blow out, we want them to recover as quickly and as evenly as possible. So let's do this test 3 times and see how the main camera performs. Here we go, panning down. Boom. panning back up. Boom. What do you think? What do you think? That's one. Let's do it again. Panning down. Boom. Panning back up. Boom. That's two. One more time. Panning down. Panning back up. That's three. How do you feel the cameras performed there? Now let's go directly into a focus speed test. Now, the Note 10 can do continuous autofocus as well as tap to focus. So we're going to test out continuous autofocus first and let the cameras do all the work. And then we're going to do tap to focus last and see how quickly those focus speeds are. So we're going to pick 3 focal subjects. We're going to use the bushes to my left, big tree in the center there, and the pillar off to my right, okay? And we're going to do this 2 times, and I want everyone to let me know how you feel the focus is on the Note 10. Here we go. So, bushes to the left. Man, that looks good. Tree to the center. That also looks good. Pillar to the right. That looks really good. All right, one more time. Bushes to the left. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That looks nice. Tree in the center. Okay. Pillar to the right. Boom. Now let me readjust my grip. Okay. And we'll do the same thing, but tap to focus style. Here we go. Bushes to the left. Tap. Locked up. Now, you also have object tracking, autofocus as well. So now that I've tapped on the bushes, the cameras will try to keep the bushes in focus as long as it keeps the bushes in the scene. So let me know what you think. Okay. Tree in the center. Tap. Locked up. Okay. Pillar off to the right. Tap. Locked up. Alright. One more time. Bushes to the left. Tap. Locked up. Okay. Tree in the center. Tap. Locked up. Pillar off to the right. Tap. Locked up. Now you kind of got to do a double tap because you wanted to unlock focus from the previous subject and lock focus on the new subject. So it's kind of not a tap. It's more like a double tap, but it is what it is. Okay? Okay. Now, last but certainly not least, let's test out this zoom. Let's see how it does retaining the detail and the stabilization as we zoom in. Now, we're going to use all 3 cameras for this, so let's start off with the ultra wide. So this is the ultra wide 16 megapixel camera, and we're going to zoom all the way into that big bush all the way in the distance. So this is the ultra wide, and this is 0.5 times zoom. All right. Now, if we switch down to the primary, this is the primary 12 megapixel camera, and this is 1 times zoom right here. And then if we go to the telephoto, this is the telephoto 12 megapixel camera, and this is 2 times zoom right here. Now, if you tap on the trees, you get a nice little zoom slider that comes up, okay? And then you can switch between them, or you can do the pinch to zoom, or you can slide your thumb up and down to zoom through the cameras here. And when you slide up and down, it gives you quick little shortcuts as to what zoom you want to use. All right, so it goes from 0.5 times zoom all the way up to 10 times zoom, which is the maximum zoom range for the Note 10. All right, so let's test it all out here. Let's go. So let's go to 1.5 times zoom first. So 1.5 times zoom right here. That actually looks really, really good. It looks a little dark, but it looks really, really good. Okay, let's keep going. 2 times zoom right here. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks real nice. Alright, let's keep going. 2.5 times zoom. Right there. Nice colors. A little bit of pixelation from what I can see, but really nice colors. Really good overall stabilization. Good stuff. Let's go up to the big boy numbers. Let's go up to 5 times zoom and see what we can see. So now we're on the telephoto lens, and boy, that looked good. That looked real good. Now you see there's a noticeable loss in stabilization, but the stabilization itself is still pretty good as well. Check out the details on the leaves. Check out the colors. Yes, yes. Now I wouldn't be mad zooming in with this camera because we have a dedicated zoom lens with the telephoto lens. So I wouldn't be mad at this. Alright, but let's max it out and see what happens. So this is 5 times zoom. Let's go up to the 10. And this is 10 times zoom. And you know, in all honesty, it's a little pixelated, but the colors look good. There's a noticeable loss in detail. But that tree is pretty far away. It's a little washed out on the colors, but not bad. That's 10 times zoom. And the stabilization is still really, really good. But yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend that. If anything, I would say you want to stick with 1.5 times. So this right here, 1.5 times zoom. Let me fix it. Or you would want to go with 2 times zoom. This right here. So really good stuff there. Or if you want to get everything in the shot, just use that ultra wide and use the 0.5 times zoom. Alright, but all in all, I feel like these are some really solid cameras. I've been taking a bunch of photos side by side, and I gotta say, I really love me some Galaxy cameras, man. Samsung is definitely making it do what it do when it comes to the overall camera performance. But let's continue on with the testing now. Let's run inside and we're gonna do some indoor daytime low light testing with the front and the rear facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. I will be right back. I'll see y'all in a second. Peace. All right, everyone, and now we are back in and we're testing out the front and rear facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. All right. Starting off here in this indoor daytime low light scenario here, we're testing out the front facing 10 megapixel camera in 720p at 30 FPS, alright, with no external audio hooked up. Now, what I'm going to do for the rear facing test, because I can't help myself, I'm going to connect up the Galaxy Buds and give y'all an audio sample with the Galaxy Buds, but I have to use the Pro Mode camera setting in the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 for that. But first and foremost, we're testing out the front-facing camera in stock mode, so auto mode, and this is the 10 megapixel front-facing camera, again 720p, 30 FPS, with no external audio hooked up. So nice stationary vlog style footage. Let me know what y'all think of this one. Now once again, this looks great. Comparing this to, where is it? Right here. Comparing this to the front-facing camera footage from the Moto G9 Power, they both did really good in this scenario, but let me pull up the footage here. And let me just look at it here. Alright, yeah. So this, the Note 10 is doing a better job put with the lighting, even though it's the same lighting scenario that I used on the Moto G9 Power. I didn't adjust anything. So all we have is the external light coming in through the window. But looking at the footage from the G9 is a little bit more natural, whereas this kind of is accentuating my skin and kind of pulling out my skin tone a little bit more, whereas the G9 was a little bit more subtle. But overall, I feel as though this front-facing footage looks really, really good. Really good indeed. Alright, now let me spin the camera around. Let me set up Pro Mode and give y'all a test in Pro Mode with the rear-facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 in daytime low light settings here. And we're also going to test out the audio performance on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. Let me set that up and I'll be right back. I'll see y'all in a second. Whew. Super excited over here. I've always wanted to test this out like this. We're going to see how it do. I'll be right back. Here we go, everyone. I just got the notification, so all the audio is coming in through the microphones on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus, and we are using Pro Mode Video to record this portion of the video. Now, some differences between using Pro Mode and using the regular auto mode is that when you use Pro Mode, you have to select the camera that you want to use before you push record. You can't really swap between. Let me try it and see. Can I swap between? No. So you can't really swap between the ultra wide, the primary, and the telephoto when you're using Pro Mode Video on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Okay? It's only in Pro Mode Video. Now, if you're using the regular auto mode, you can swap between all three lenses. But I really wanted to test this out. Now, I pretty much left everything on their default setting. All I did was go in and switch the microphone setting to Bluetooth, so it's getting the audio from my microphones on the Buds Plus. Everything else I left in their default settings here. So let's get along with this testing and see how it does. So first things first, verification. Let's pan over, and y'all can see the only thing we have lighting up the scene here today is the external light coming in through my window. So you can see it's pitch black on either side because I have the cameras directly focused on where the main light source is. So this is indeed an indoor daytime low light test for the cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. And this is being recorded in 720p at 30 FPS with Bluetooth audio hooked up. Alright, so I just wanted to verify that for everyone. Let's pan back over. And now let's center this up and angle it down into the traditional reviewer style angle. So this looks, that looks about straight. Now let's angle it down. Bam! That's perfect pretty much. Right there, that's perfect. So this is what the main cameras look like on the Note 10 indoors daytime low light. Okay? And I gotta tell y'all, this looks phenomenal. And I can see that with everything set to auto inside of Pro Mode, as the light switches, it switches the numbers. And I gotta say, it's doing a great job dialing in the cameras exactly how they need to be. And this looks phenomenal to me. And this is only being recorded in 720p. But let's do a real quick test here. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to yell. Sorry to all my headphone users. But check this out. How's the detail retention? How's the sharpness of the keys? I gotta be honest with y'all. That looks phenomenal. Okay, it's nice, crisp, it's clear, it's sharp. Let me pan it through for y'all. Oh yeah, that looks phenomenal, man. I can even see how dirty my keyboard is. But this is just the keyboard cover. Yeah, it looks good. Let me pan it back through one more time. Yeah. So nice detail, even in this lower light scenario. Really nice wide frame. Even though we're using the main camera lens, you can see it's a slightly wide view on the main camera lens. So not bad at all. And the main camera is the primary 12 megapixel sensor. Alright. Now let's do some focus testing and see how it does. So we're going to pull out the trusty dusty Note 7 here, Note 7 Active. And look how quickly it locked up focus on that. Look at the nice shallow depth of field going on in the background. Look how blurred out the keyboard is. But look how pin sharp the focus is on the device, the the S7 active. Let's see, let's check the text. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that looks good. I can read that. Can y'all read that? I can read that. What y'all think? Let me tilt it just right. Yeah, I can read that. Can you read that? Nice and sharp. Picking up that nice gradient pattern on the back of the device. Yeah, it's doing a great job. It's doing a great job. Alright, let's pull it out and see how fast it relocks focus on the keyboard. Y'all ready for this? 3, 2, 1, go. Boom! A little bit of a struggle there as it tried to recalibrate focus, but it did do a great job and I didn't have to assist it. A little bit slow there, but it caught it eventually. Not bad at all. Alright, let's do it a couple more times and see if it gets better. So let's bring the phone back in. Now, yeah, it definitely does a better job locking focus than relocking focus. Because look how quickly it relocked on the device. Yeah, man, it's doing a great job. Great job indeed. Now let's take it out again and see how quickly it relocks. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. A lot faster that time. So I think it just depends on how tough the subject is that I'm having it lock focus on, and then how tough the subject is that I'm having it relock focus on after the fact. But let's do it one more time just to be safe. Third time's the charm, so y'all got an idea of the overall focusing speeds on the Note 10. Let's go. So bringing the device back in. Yeah, that was almost instant right there when it locked focus on the device. And again, this looks phenomenal. I can read that. That looks phenomenal right there. And now let's pull it out. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. And again, instantly locks up focus on the keyboard. So I think that first time, it needed a second to adjust. You know, it needed to warm up. It needed to stretch before it went to work. But every time after the first time, that focus has been instant. And keep in mind, y'all, this is not the best lighting scenario for the cameras. This is indoor, daytime, low light. Okay? And I'm pretty sure that if I turned on my studio lights and set it to the proper brightness, that would be instant every time. But this concludes the testing for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 and its front and rear-facing cameras, indoors, daytime, low light, and again, this was 720p footage here. So now what I'm going to do is a little bit later on, we're going to retest the front and rear-facing cameras, and we're going to go back to using auto mode officially. I just wanted to test this out one time. I couldn't help myself. Y'all going to have to forgive me. But a little bit later on, we're going to test out the front and rear-facing cameras on the Note 10 in nighttime artificial lighting scenarios. Alright? So I'll be right back with the next set of tests for you guys and gals. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Peace. Alright, everyone. And now we are back in. And this time we're testing out the front and the rear-facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 in 720p, 30 FPS, with no external microphone hooked up. And this is nighttime artificial lighting scenarios here. So starting off the testing here, we're testing out the front-facing 10 megapixel camera in a vlog style stationary test in nighttime artificial lighting. So please let me know what y'all think of this footage. Please let me know what you think of the overall audio. Leave all your feedback down below. And I gotta tell y'all, in the week or so that I've had this device, and I've been low-key testing it out, because as I said from the unboxing video, this has primarily been picked up as an editing and production device, but low-key I've kind of been testing it out, carrying it around, taking photo samples, taking video samples, setting it up just the way I like it. This is actually a very, very solid device, and 256 gigs of storage. Oh, I feel like that's going to last me a long, long time. even with editing videos and uploading videos and backing up videos to the cloud, I feel like it's going to last me a very long time. And the overall performance so far in a week and a half of what you can consider light heavy usage, because again, I only pick up this device when I need to make a comparison or when I'm editing or publishing a video. So if this device is not being used heavily, it's not really being used at all. So that's kind of what I would call light heavy usage. This device has performed pretty much phenomenally. Okay, and even the overall battery health, I'm surprised at how good it is. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So this is a front-facing camera test in artificial low lighting. Let me know what y'all think. Now let's spin the cameras around and give y'all a similar test with the rear-facing cameras. All right? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. See y'all in a little bit. Peace. All right, everybody. And now we're testing out the rear-facing triple camera setup on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Okay? And once again, this is nighttime artificial lighting scenarios here. So let's do some quick verifications and let's dive into the testing. So if I pan over here, everyone can see that there is indeed no external light coming in through my window here this evening. So this is all overhead artificial studio lighting here. And even if I pan back here, you can see, if you look in the reflection of the TV, I have the studio lights set up as bright as they can go in all white. So this is what I would consider to be perfect lighting here. And I actually have a set of 5 smart lights here. So I have 2 lamps in my bedroom, and then in my overhead setup here is 3 other bulbs for a grand total of 5. So that's how I'm able to get this room so bright here this evening. But real quick verification there. Now let's bring everything back to center. That looks good. That looks real good. And let's pan everything down into the traditional reviewer style angle here and start the testing. Okay, so here we go, panning down. And it looks like I gotta back up a little bit. All right. So here we go. That actually looks pretty good. So this is the main 12 megapixel sensor that we're on right now, and you can see for the most part it's a wide sensor, but we're still not able to get everything in the frame. But the beauty of having the new setup for the Galaxy Note cameras is that they implemented what LG lets you do, and the fact that you can switch between the 3 primary rear cameras on the fly while recording one video. Okay, so you can see I could pull out to the ultra wide 16 megapixel, and now I can get everything in the frame. So really good stuff there, really good stuff there indeed. All right, so here's the ultra wide right there, and then here's the primary. Yet again, hold on, I tapped it fast. Here's the primary right here. And then if I really want to zoom in tight, we can go into the, the telephoto lens for a really nice, close, zoomed in shot here. Okay? So you can actually switch between all 3 cameras on the fly in one video or one photo. And a really neat feature that I like that the Galaxy cameras now have implemented is something called single shot best shot. So if you turn that feature on and you take a shot with it, it's going to take a second, and then it's going to snap with all the cameras, and it's going to give you the best shot from that snap. And you can go through and you can select through all the different shots that it took. It's actually a really nice feature. Alright? Alright, so real quickly here, let's get into some testing. Let me adjust this just a little bit more so we can actually see everything in the frame. So give me 1 second, y'all. Let me raise this up just a little bit. Boom. That actually looks really good there. So now we can kind of see the whole keyboard in the frame. And we got everything in the frame. Aside from my mouse here. As I said, it's a nice wide main sensor, but it's not as wide as the ultra wide. It is what it is. But let's get into the testing, y'all. So, holding up the keyboard here, how are the cameras doing maintaining the detail? How sharp is the text on the keyboard? How legible is it? Now, looking through the viewfinder, I could tell y'all this looks great. I can easily read this, and I can even tell how dirty my keyboard cover is, but that's a mute point. So, moving on, let me pan this through for y'all and let me know what you think. Yeah, man, that actually looks really, really good. Alright? Really good. Now, if I was going to record a video, we're good to record it even in this lower light scenario here or artificial lighting scenario here. Alright? But that looks really good indeed. Now, moving on, let's get into some focus testing here. And for the focus testing, I actually have the trusted dusty S7 Active. I think I messed up in the video clip earlier. I called this the Note 7 Active. That device does not exist, y'all. It would be cool if it did, but that device does not exist. This is the S7 Active, not the Note 7 Active. But yeah, let's get into some focus testing here so we can get a nice tight close-up here. And you can see how good the cameras are at locking into focus. Look at that shallow depth of field that it creates on the keyboard back there. Look at how beautifully it gets that nice stipple pattern on the back of the device. Is that legible? Check out when we tilt that in the light, how legible that text becomes down there. Oh yeah, I can read all of that. Alright, good stuff there, good stuff indeed. Alright. And then let's check out the refocusing speeds and focusing speeds. So let's take the device out and see how quickly it relocks focus on the keyboard. 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. And we're right back on the keyboard. That was almost instant. Almost instant. And no hesitation this time when we are locking and relocking focus. Really good stuff there. Really good stuff indeed. Let's do it one more time. Alright? So bringing the device back in. Locks up that focus. Again, almost instantly. Check out that nice shallow depth of field in the background. That's all natural. That's no special effects from the camera. Even though we got a nice portrait video mode that will create that effect. This is all natural. This is all in auto mode, by the way. Alright, in 720p with no external microphone hooked up. Again, check out the nice detail. Look how good the cameras are doing with the lighting. Picking up that nice stipple pattern on the back of the device. And let's test it one more time. So let's take the device out and see how quickly it locks focus on the keyboard. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. And we're back on the keyboard. Really, really good stuff there. And the cool thing is, everything that we can do with the primary camera, we can indeed do with the ultra wide camera here. So we got focus tracking and we got all that good stuff with the ultra wide, similar to how we have it on the primary, right? So really good stuff here indeed. So whatever camera you want to use, it shares the same feature set across the board. Okay? Good stuff there. Good stuff there indeed. Now, moving on. Let me go back to the primary here. Moving on. That pretty much brings this low light artificial lighting test to a close with the rear and the front facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Okay? I hope you guys and gals enjoyed it. Up next here, we're going to be testing out the same cameras in 1080p, 30 FPS, and we're going to take it to shooting space number 2, which is out by the pool. And then after we do the 1080p testing, we're going to wrap up the testing in the big yard, where we're going to record in 4K 30 FPS. So the next set of video tests you're going to see is in shooting space number 2, which is all going to be done in 1080p 30 FPS, and then in shooting space number 3, which is all going to be done in 4K at 30 FPS. Okay, keep in mind this whole video is going to be timestamped for your convenience, so please feel free to jump around to different parts of it that you would like to check out. Alright, let's continue on with the testing. I'll see you guys in a second. Be right back. Peace.
Alright, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to another video for everyone. And today we're testing out the front and the rear facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. As you can see, we're out here in shooting space number 2 today by the pool. That means we're getting ready to test out the 1080p footage and the cameras in the 1080p resolution and see just what they can do. So starting off here, we're testing out the front facing 10 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. This is with no external audio hooked up, and this is in 1080p 30 FPS. So starting off here with some nice stationary vlog style footage. Let me know what y'all think of this. And I gotta be honest with y'all, looking through the viewfinder, it's doing a great job. It's exposing for my skin properly. It's balancing out the light properly. Now it is overexposed in this corner right here, slightly overexposed in that corner, but overall this is some very usable footage. Alright, so real quick vlog style test with the front facing 10 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Now let me spin the cameras around and let's get into testing out the rear facing cameras in the same lighting scenario here today. Okay, alright, give me 1 second, I'll be right back. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Peace. Alright everyone, and now we got a rear facing camera test with the ultra wide and primary cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. This is also being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So let's go ahead and jump into our typical testing here. Let's go. Starting off with the pans. So we're going to pan from here all the way through to right about there, and come on back. We're going to do this 2 times each. So that was 1. Okay, let's do this one more time. And that's 2. Come on back. Now let's switch to the primary. And let's do the same thing. Notice the difference in the field of view. So once again, we're going to pan from here all the way through to right about there and back. We're going to do this twice. So that's 1. And that's 2. Alright, now let's go into an exposure test, starting off with the ultra wide. So we're going to try and line up focus on the pool heater and pan down to the ground. Boom. We're going to pan up and down 3 times. So this is 1. Boom. Here we go with number 2. Boom. Last one, number 3. Boom. Now let's switch down to the primary. Let's redo this one 3 times. Again, pay attention to the differences in detail. Pay attention to the changes in the exposure. All right. When we test out the exposure, we want that nice smooth transition from the lighter areas to the darker areas with minimal to no exposure blowout. And if the cameras do blow out, we want them to recover as evenly and as quickly as possible. So pay attention to that as you're watching this clip. All right, so here we go with the primary camera test. Panning down. Okay, panning up. That's one. Panning down. Panning up. That's two. Panning down. Panning up. That's three. How do y'all feel the cameras did there? How to do with the focus, how to do with the exposure, how to do with the colors as well. Alright? Now let's go directly into a focus test. Now we're going to test out the continuous autofocus as well as the tap to focus. So starting off with the continuous autofocus, we're going to pick 3 focal subjects here. So we're going to use this folding pool chair to my left as focal subject number 1. Okay, we're going to use the big pool chair to my right as focal subject number 2. All right, and I like that big tree, the big bush in the distance over there is going to be focal subject number 3. All right, so I'm going to cycle through these twice, and I want y'all to let me know how you feel the camera is doing, adjusting for the focus and exposure for everything. All right, let me know. Let's get started. So going to my left, we should be perfectly lined up on the pool chair. Now I do see a little bit of overexposure going on in the background, but the pool chair does look like it's in focus, and it looks like the color is nicely balanced for the focal subject. Coming over to the long pool chair. Not bad at all. And then going to the big bush. Good stuff. That's 1. Let's do it one more time. So folding pool chair. That looks good. Long pool chair. That also looks good. Big bush. Boom. Alright, now let me adjust my grip. Alright, and then we're going to do it one more time. Okay. So, grip adjusted. Now we're going to use the tap to focus. Here we go. So, folding pool chair, tap. Locked up. That was almost instant. Okay. Long pool chair, tap. Locked up. Again, that was almost instant as well. And then big bushes. Tap. Locked up. Good stuff indeed. Again, it's almost instant. Let's do it one more time. Folding pool chair, tap, locked up. Nice exposure adjustment there. Look at how it's still kind of overexposing the trees over here and the trees over here, but our focal subject is nice and in focus, and the color looks good. Going over to the long pool chair, tap, locked up, and now that one looks perfect. Look at the color here. Look at the color here, and then look at our subject, nicely in focus. That one looks perfect. All right, and then last but certainly not least, let's lock in on those bushes. Boom. Now the bushes are probably going to come out the best because that's the area with the most sunlight, so the cameras won't have to struggle as much. And I got to tell y'all, that looks really good. Now, last but certainly not least, let's test the zoom. Y'all know why I like to test the zoom, because it tests everything. It tests the stabilization, it tests the focus, it tests the detail retention, all that good stuff. So now let's lock focus on the top of the roof over there, and let's start zooming in. Let's start out with the ultra wide. So let's go out to the ultra wide, and focus is still locked. And so this is at 0.5 times zoom. Now you can pinch to zoom. All right, so you can pinch in and out, or you can use the little shortcuts that pop up when you start zooming. So your shortcuts go from 0.5 times all the way up to 10 times. All right, so let me take you through the shortcut sliders real quick. So 0.5 times, 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, 10 times. Alright, so you go all the way up to 10 times zoom there. And check out the detail, check out the stabilization, check out the colors. What do y'all think? Now the stabilization looks good. The colors look decent. The roof is kind of washed out a little bit, but not bad. And we are actually using the telephoto camera right now when we're zoomed in 10 times like this. Alright, so let's run it one more time just to show you. So coming out to the ultra wide, locking focus up on the roof. Alright, and now let's start zooming in. So once again, we have 0.5 times, we got 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, 10 times. Alright? Really good stuff there. Really good stuff indeed. Now again, you can do the pinch to zoom. So you can zoom in and out by pinching, or you can use those shortcuts. Now, just for reference, the ultra wide stops at 0.9 times zoom. So right now I'm at the end of the ultra wide range. If I pinch in one more time, it's going to take us to the primary 12 megapixel camera, and then the primary camera will go all the way up to 2 times, and then after 2 times we're using the telephoto camera. Alright, so now we're at 2.5 times and we're on the telephoto camera right now, but that still looks really good. The colors look good, the detail looks good, everything looks real good. Alright, and in all honesty, y'all, I can recommend 0.9 times for the ultra wide, or I can recommend 1.5 times for the regular, or 2.5 times for the telephoto. Alright? Other than that, in certain instances, 4 times zoom might be too much, 10 times zoom might be too much, and you will notice a noticeable loss in detail depending on what you're trying to do. And then, as always, if you need to get closer while retaining detail, you just need to physically move closer to your subject. Alright, guys and gals, this pretty much does it for testing out the rear-facing cameras on the Note 10 in 1080p at 30 FPS. Let me know what y'all think. Now let's run inside and do some similar testing indoors, daytime, low light. I will be right back. I'll see y'all in a second. Alright everyone, and now we're testing out the front and rear facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. This time we're indoors. This is daytime low light settings here. And starting off the testing, we're starting off with a stationary vlog style test with the front facing 10 megapixel camera. Now, this is being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So please let me know what y'all think of this overall footage. Also, let me know what y'all think of the overall audio coming out of the onboard microphones. All your feedback, as always, is greatly appreciated. Alright? Real quick front-facing clip. Now let's spin everything around, and I'm going to give y'all a test of the rear-facing cameras. Alright, so I will be right back. See y'all in a second. Peace. Alright, everyone. So same scenario here, just with the rear-facing cameras. So now we're testing out the 16 megapixel ultra wide, the 12 megapixel primary, and the 12 megapixel telephoto camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. And this is being recorded indoors, daytime, low light, in 1080p, 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So let's do some verifications, and then we're going to jump straight into the testing. So if I pan over here, we pan to the window, y'all can indeed see that the only thing we have lighting up the scene here today is the external light coming in through the window here. There are no other light sources. Turned on at this time. So this is indeed an indoor daytime low light test.
Just wanted to verify that for everyone. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and switch to the main camera. And let's angle this up into the traditional reviewer style angle and start the testing. Let's go. So that looks straight. Let's angle down. Alright, and I do got to slide over just a little bit. Boom. There we go. That looks perfect. Alright. Oh. Slide forward a little bit. And angle this down just a little bit more. Boom. Perfect there. So here y'all can see this is what an indoor daytime low light scenario would look like with the primary 12 megapixel camera on the Note 10, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Now for reference, if we switch to the ultra wide, this is what the ultra wide picks up. So the ultra wide picks up a lot more in the scene than the primary. Okay? And then if we switch to the primary, again, this is what the primary looks like right here. And then if we switch to the telephoto zoom sensor, that's what that looks like. Now, switching back to the primary so we can start the testing, I do want to say this. Samsung has done a great job with the color science across all of their cameras. The scene is basically the same with slight variations, very slight variations from the ultra wide to the primary to the telephoto and even the front facing camera. Their color science is really, really good, and everything else on the Samsung cameras is top notch. Okay? Now, the one thing that the Samsung cameras do that is personal preference is saturation. Samsung has a tendency to oversaturate their videos and their photos to make it more pleasing. Some people like that, some people don't. It's personal preference. If you don't like it, you can edit it out after the fact. If you do like it, most of the videos and photos that you take out of the Samsung cameras are going to be social media post ready. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out. Now, getting into the testing here, got my keyboard right here, and I want y'all to tell me how clear is the text on the keyboard in this low light scenario here. How sharp is this? How legible is this? Let me know. Now that looks really good based on what I'm seeing through the viewfinder. Let me pan this through. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Really good indeed. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Okay? Let's press that down. Now, let me grab a phone here and we're going to do some focus testing. So, I pretty much use the same phone for all of the focus testing here because this, in my opinion, has the best design of pretty much all of the phones that I have. That's why I use it in all of my daytime low light testing and all of my nighttime artificial light testing. So here we have the Samsung Galaxy S7 active here. Alright, check that out. And look at that nice stipple pattern there. Let's get focus on the back. Look at the nice shallow depth of field that's created naturally. Okay? Check that out. Look at the gradient pattern there, stipple pattern here. Now I want y'all to let me know something. How legible is this text? Can you read this? Let me know. Now based on what I see, this is more than readable for me. But what do y'all think? Now, let's do some focusing speed tests here. So, now it's focused on the camera, on the device. Let's take the device out and see how fast it locks back up on focus on the keyboard. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And now it's locked back up on the keyboard. How fast was that? Now, I do want to let y'all know, based on what I saw through the viewfinder, that was pretty much almost instant. Okay? Almost instant indeed. Now let's do this a couple more times, right? So let me bring the device back in. And you can see it locked back up, focus on the device again almost instantly. And again, check out the gradient pattern. Check out the text at the bottom. How legible is that? Let me know. Okay. Look at that AT&T tramp stamp back there. Okay, let's take it out and see how fast it locks back up on the keyboard. 3, 2, 1. Boom. And we're back on the keyboard. Again,
almost instant. So I would have to say, even in lower light scenarios, the cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 seem like they do a phenomenal job. Alright, now this is in 1080p. I've also done this same testing in 720p, and I've done something a little bit similar in 4K, but I'm not going to show y'all the 4K footage for that, but take my word for that. Alright, now what I'm going to do, because that pretty much wraps up the testing here in 1080p for the rear-facing cameras. Now what I'm going to do is a little bit later on, okay, we're going to redo a similar test with the front and the rear-facing cameras on the Note 10 in nighttime artificial low light and see how these cameras perform. Alright, so I'll be right back with the next set of tests for everyone. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Peace. Alright everyone, and now we're back in and we're continuing the camera testing for the front and rear facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. And this is the nighttime low light artificial lighting scenario testing in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. And starting off the testing here, we're testing out the 10 megapixel front facing camera on the Note 10 in a vlog style stationary test. So let me know what y'all think of the overall video quality as well as what you think of the overall audio quality down below. And overall, I gotta say, this looks really good indeed. But let me know what y'all think. Please share your thoughts down below in the comments. Now, let me spin the cameras around. Let's do some verifications and get into testing out the rear facing cameras. So give me 1 second. I will be right back. I'll see y'all in a second. Peace. Alright, and now everyone, as promised, all I did was spin the cameras around, and now let's get into testing out the triple rear facing cameras. Again, that's a 12 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 16 megapixel ultra wide. So let's do some quick verifications and get into testing. Now, panning over, you can see that this is indeed nighttime artificial lighting scenarios here. So the only thing I have lighting up the scene here is my smart lamps, and my overhead smart studio lights is set to clear white at 100% brightness. So that's how I got the lighting that y'all see here, and I actually think this lighting looks really good. Other than that, there is no other lights assisting the scene here this evening, and you can see it's pitch black outside as we look through the window. Alright, quick little verification there. Now let's pan everything back over, and let's line this bad boy up in the traditional reviewer style angle and get on with the testing. Alright, and we might as well start with the ultra wide first. So let's start with the ultra wide and take a look at the difference in the field of view. I don't know what I said, but I heard something go off and I didn't need for it to go off. So it is what it is. Don't repeat yourself if you about to go off. Now, look at the difference in the field of view. Check out the ultra wide versus the primary versus the telephoto. Okay, look at the difference there. Again, telephoto, primary, ultra wide, right? Now let's angle this down here, right? Check this out. So check out just how much I can get in the shot with the ultra wide. This is unbelievable right here, right? And you see that? I can pick up everything. My earbuds, my mouse, one of my favorite phones, the keyboard, my wireless chargers, my phone stand, everything, even some of the other phones that I have on the table. It is what it is. You can pretty much pick up everything with the ultra wide cameras on the Note. And the sweet thing about the ultra wide cameras is that they can do everything that the primary cameras can do. So they got object tracking autofocus, they got continuous autofocus, all that good stuff. And you're on the ultra wide cameras from 0.5 zoom to 0.9 zoom, right? Once you go into the 1x zoom, then you're on the primary cameras. Once you get up in the 2x zoom, then you're on the telephoto zoom cameras, right? And you can zoom all the way up to 10 times with the Note cameras, okay? The Note 10 cameras.
So check out the ultra wide. Now let's go ahead and switch down to the primary. Oh, my bad. I hit the telephoto by accident. So switching down to the primary here. And I got to angle down a little bit more for the primary. And we got to back up a little bit. And angle it up a little different. Alright. So I'm down a little too low. There we go. Now let me slide in. Camera gymnastics, y'all. It is what it is. But y'all can see when we're on the primary, it does punch in a little bit, but it still maintains a little bit of a wide angle. But you will have to do some adjusting if you're going to use the primary cameras for just about everything. But check out the level of detail that you can pick up with the primary cameras. Let me know how sharp and legible that text is on the keyboard. Let me pan this through for y'all. Look at the color representation. Look at the focus. Look at the detail retention. Let me know what y'all think. Looks good. Looks good indeed. Alright, putting it down. Now, let's do some focus testing and then we'll wrap the video up. And once again, this is being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS. So, to do the focus testing, y'all know I gotta break out one of my favorite devices. The Samsung Galaxy, I was about to say Note again. I almost messed up again. Samsung Galaxy S7 Active right here. And you can see it locked up focus really, really quickly on the back of this device. Check out the stipple pattern there. Check out the text. How legible is that? Can you read that? Check that out. And look at the nice shallow depth of field that it's getting. Blurring out the keyboard, blurring out my wireless charger in the background, and really bringing into focus the subject, which is the phone. Now let's see how quickly it locks back up on the keyboard. So let's take the phone out in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And it locks back up on the keyboard almost instantly. So really good overall focusing speeds with the Note 10. Really good overall focusing speeds indeed. Alright? And then, let me just show you real quick, if you're going to use the telephoto zoom lens, so like let's say you want to zoom in and you still want to maintain the detail, check this out. This is now with the 12 megapixel telephoto lens. Look how crisp and how much detail you still maintain using that zoom lens. Okay, so if you do need to zoom, they got you with the telephoto zoom camera. Alright, now primarily, as I told y'all, we're pretty much just going to be sticking to the primary sensor or the ultra-wide sensor. Not a big fan of zoom. I actually prefer just to physically get closer to my subject if I need to. And if I am going to zoom, I'm probably not going to zoom more than 2.5 times. It is what it is. Alright, so real quick camera test for the Note 10 in nighttime artificial lighting scenarios here. Okay, and once again, this was in 1080p at 30 FPS. So now what we're going to do is a little bit later on tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and do the final set of tests with the Note 10 outside in the big yard in 4K at 30 FPS. So I'll be right back with that last set of clips for everyone, and I hope you enjoy. Have a good one. I'll see you in a little bit. Alright everyone, and now we are back in for the final camera test with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Here we are out in the big yard, and I'm kind of sitting underneath my favorite tree in the shade because it is sunny and it is hot, and I did not want to go all the way out to the middle of the big yard where we don't have any shade. So I came and I sat underneath my favorite tree, and I figured I'd give y'all the test. So we're going to get into our final set of camera testing with the Note 10's rear-facing and front-facing cameras. And then I'm going to wrap the video up and give y'all my final thoughts and final impressions with the device and the cameras in general. Alright, so let's get started here. And just for reference, this is in the stock camera app in the regular video mode. So this is not in pro video, this is not in
portrait video. This is just in the stock camera app in the regular video mode. This way I have access to all three of the rear facing cameras. Now this is also being recorded in 4K at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. Okay, so let me know what y'all think of the overall video quality, the overall audio, the overall stabilization, all that good stuff down below. Alright, so now let me zoom out to the ultra wide and then we can start the testing. So here we go. Ultra wide camera, 16 megapixels. And now let's start the pans. So let's pan from here all the way through to right about there and back. We're going to do this 2 times. Okay, that's 1. Here we go with number 2. Okay. Okay, come on back to the center now. And now let's switch to the primary. And let's test the exposure. So let's line up on this tree in front of us here. And we're going to pan up and down to the ground. And when we're testing the exposure, we want a nice, smooth, and even transition from the lighter areas to the darker areas of the scene with minimal to no exposure blowout. And if the cameras do blow out, we want them to recover as quickly and as evenly as possible. So let's go. Pan down to the ground. Pan up and out to the tree. Boom, that's 1. What do y'all think? Now this should look perfect because it's perfectly lit out here today, but we're still going to test it and see how the cameras perform. So 1, we're going to do it 2 times. So that was 1. 1 more time. Down. And up. Boom, that's 2. Alright, and now let's do a focusing test with the ultra wide and the primary camera. So let's go back out to the ultra wide. Let's pick our 3 focal subjects here. Now, whether you're using the primary or the ultra wide cameras, you can still pretty much do the same thing across all 3 of the rear facing primary cameras. So we have continuous autofocus on all 3. We have tap to focus on all 3. We got exposure controls. We got focus locking. All that good stuff is here. And we can transition between all 3 on the fly, which is really, really cool. So y'all can see I can go from the ultra wide to the primary to the telephoto all in one video with no cuts. Alright, but let's do this focusing test here. Let's go. So we're going to use the tree over the shed as 1 focal subject. We're going to use that skinny tree in front of us as focal subject number 2. And then we're going to use that small tree off to my slight left as focal subject number 3. Now we're going to do continuous autofocus twice and tap to focus twice for the ultra wide and the primary. And then we're going to finish up with a zoom test. Alright, so here we go. Continuous autofocus first. Here we go. First focal subject, tree over the shed. How does that look? Let me know. Okay. That looks like it's lined up correctly. Okay. Skinny tree in front. That also looks like it's lined up correctly. And then small tree to my right. That also looks like it's lined up correctly. So that's 1. Let's do it again. Tree over the shed. Okay. Skinny tree in front. Okay. Small tree to the right. Boom. Alright, let me adjust my grip. And we're going to redo the same thing, tap to focus style. So, tree over the shed, tap, locked up. And as I said, I can adjust the exposure. So I can overexpose, I can underexpose, or I can dial it in perfectly for what I think the scene is. And then I can lock it by pushing that lock that pops up on the viewfinder. So now the focus is locked, the exposure is locked, all that good stuff. And then if I want to unlock it, I just have to tap it again to put it back to auto. So tapping on the tree, almost instant focus lock. Coming over here to the skinny tree in front, tap. Again, almost instant focus lock there. And then the small tree to my right, tap, locked up. Really quick stuff, really good overall focusing speeds. Again, almost instant. Let's do it one more time. Tree over the shed, tap, locked up. Okay, skinny tree in front, tap, locked up. Then small tree to my right, tap, locked up. Really good stuff indeed. That was with the ultra wide. Now let's take it down to the primary and do the same thing. So coming over, tree over the shed, tap, locked up, looking good, looking good. Skinny tree in front, tap, locked up, and then small tree to the right, tap, locked up. Again, pretty much instant. And then if we do the continuous autofocus with the primary camera, that looks lined up, tree over the shed, boom, skinny tree in front, that also looks lined up, boom, okay, and then small tree to my right, boom. Good stuff there indeed. Alright, and then if we do a quick exposure test for the primary camera, locked up on the skinny tree in front, down, up, down, up. Good, really good. And I gotta say, Samsung has come a long way. Now they're rivaling LG in terms of their color science and their color balance across all of their cameras. So you can see the ultra wide in terms of color science is pretty much identical to the primary camera, which is identical to the telephoto camera here. So I really like what Samsung has done, balancing out their colors and software across all of their cameras. Really good stuff there, really good stuff indeed. Alright, now let's finish up the test here. Let's do a zooming test so y'all can see. If we look all the way in the distance, y'all see that little half tree stump. We're going to use that as our focal subject, so we're going to lock the focus on it. We're going to dial in the exposure just perfect. So we're going to underexpose just slightly. That looks perfect. And now we're going to start zooming in. Now you can use your shortcuts to zoom. So right now we're on the ultra wide, which is 0.5 times zoom. Then if we tap the primary camera, that's 1 time zoom right there. Okay. And then if we tap the telephoto camera, that's 2 times zoom right there. So again, ultra wide 16 megapixel camera right here. 12 megapixel primary camera right here. 12 megapixel telephoto camera right here. And then you can still keep zooming in after the fact. So with your Note 10, you can zoom in all the way up to 10 times zoom. But if you look, this looks very grainy. There's a little bit of noticeable detail loss. The colors are not looking the best. And you can see we got a little bit of shake or bubble in terms of stabilization. So I would never recommend that you zoom in all the way with your smartphone cameras. It's just not a good look. Alright? What I would actually recommend is if you want to use the ultra wide cameras, you take these bad boys up to 0.9 times zoom. That's the maximum range for the ultra wide. After 0.9 times zoom, it's going to bump you down to the primary. So if you want to use your ultra wide and you want to get a really nice shot, if you want to zoom in, take it up to 0.9 times or physically move closer. Other than that, if you're on the primary, you might want to rock with the 1.5 times zoom, as you can see right there. This looks really good. Nice balancing colors, nice balancing stabilization, and really good balancing overall detail. Right? But once you go up past 2 times, so if we go up past 2 times here, Now we're at 2.3 times. Now we're on the telephoto camera here. Okay? So now we're using the 12 megapixel telephoto camera, and y'all can see how much more zoom we got here. That's because this is what the telephoto camera is made for. Okay? So again, check out the colors, check out the stabilization, check out the detail. Now if you're going to use the telephoto camera, I would say you really don't want to go up any higher than 2.5 times zoom. This looks really good to my eyes, and based on what I'm seeing through the viewfinder, again, a nice balance in color, a nice balance in stabilization, a nice balance in the detail, recreation, and retention. And as you can see, as we zoom in, it just gets more and more washed out and more degraded. So you really don't want to be using that full 10 times zoom. In my opinion, 2.5 times zoom is it for the telephoto camera. Okay? So again, recommendations. 2.5 times for the telephoto 12 megapixel camera, 1.5 times for the primary 12 megapixel camera, and 0.9 times for the ultra wide camera. If you need to get closer to your subject, at that point, after you tried all those ranges, you need to just physically get close to your subject, okay? Because y'all saw at maximum zoom, pretty much at anything over 5 times zoom, it really doesn't look the best, okay? It does not look the best at all. So let's zoom back out, okay? And now we're back on the ultra wide camera here. And this pretty much concludes the testing for the rear-facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. And once again, this was recorded in 4K at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So now, let me spin the cameras around one more time, and I'm going to give y'all my closing thoughts while we test out the front-facing cameras for the final time on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. So I will be right back with my closing thoughts and recommendations for y'all in 1 second. I'll see y'all in a little bit. And here we have it, okay? So now we're testing out the front-facing 10 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. And this is being recorded in 4K at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. Now I do have my Galaxy Buds in, and I do have the noise ambient mode turned on and set to the highest setting so I can still hear myself talk. But check out this real quick stationary vlog style footage here. Now we don't have breeze, so I was able to set this up in the grass, and hopefully the breeze doesn't pick up because it might knock it over the way I have it set up. But hopefully it stays how it is. But y'all let me know what you think of this vlog style stationary footage out here in the big yard here. Now, let me give everyone my closing thoughts on how I feel about these cameras. Now, I've been using this device for, what is it, almost a month, okay? It'll be a month in a few days. Yeah, right now it's August 31st. And I think I picked this up around August the 6th or August the 9th. So I've been using these cameras for a good amount of time. And I've recorded a lot with these cameras. I've done a lot with these cameras. Whether we're talking about low light, whether we're talking about direct sunlight, daylight, whether we're talking about ambient light, artificial studio light. I've done a lot with these cameras. And how do I feel about it? Well, I really enjoy these cameras, y'all. The cameras on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 are top notch, okay? Regardless of whatever scenario you're shooting in with the cameras on the Note 10, you should have an overall enjoyable experience. And this is just using the cameras in auto mode. So you just go in, turn on the video camera, put it on video camera mode, have everything set to auto, and that's it, right? So that's using the cameras in auto mode, okay? Now, if you want to get even more control, if you really want to fine tune everything, I'm starting to sweat all down my legs. If you want to get even more control, if you really want to fine tune everything, then you really should be using the Pro Video mode, right? But when you use the Pro Video mode here, then you have to really go in and control everything granularly, okay? So it's definitely going to take a little bit more focus and a little bit more patience if you're going to use the Pro Video mode. But if you really take your time and you learn the cameras, you can really produce some really great footage with the Pro Video mode. But just talking about the cameras in general, using the stock video camera in auto mode, it produces some really great footage. Now you can see, since I've been sitting here, you can see just how good it's doing. And I did notice that it's struggling a little bit with the exposure for the clouds behind me. So you can see sometimes it's catching the clouds perfectly, other times it's kind of washing them out. But all in all, I feel as though this is some really good overall footage. And that being said, can I recommend the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 if you're a camera-centric user and you pick up your devices strictly based on the cameras? Can I recommend it? I would have to say yes. Also, to go along with that, if we're just talking about recommending the device in general, because I know a lot of people watch the camera videos and then they call it a day, can I recommend the Note 10 in general here late 2021? Because we're about midway through the year. So you can call it late, you can call it halfway, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Here in 2021, can I recommend the Samsung Galaxy Note 10? I would have to say yes. It really is an overall enjoyable device, and as long as you know what you're picking it up and using it for, you shouldn't have any issues. Alright? And I actually picked this bad boy up, case, device, after taxes, all included. This bad boy ran me about $416 and change. And for that price, can I recommend this device? I would have to say yes. Especially if you're a power user, you're a social media savage, you're a mobile business user, or just a business owner in general, and you want to get stuff done on the fly, yes, I could recommend this device. Even still, if you're a content creator and you know you want to pick up a device and you want the device to grow with you over time and you want it to last for a long period of time, I can also recommend this device as well. Okay? So this brings to a close the full camera review for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Alright? I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. And keep in mind, y'all, this video will be time-stamped for your convenience. So please feel free to jump around to different parts of the video that you would like to know more about. Okay? And as always, all feedback and any questions is always welcome. So please feel free to leave your feedback and any questions you may have down below in the comments. But as always, please remember, keep it respectful, please. Alright. It is hot, hot, hot. Okay? I'm about to get ready to go back in the house. But I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video. I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope everyone is staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone in the next one. We are out of here, everybody. Have a good one. Peace.